Hello and welcome to Dice Tabletop. My name is Chris, and excitedly today, this is part 1 of 2 of getting the Imperial Warlord Titan finished off. Now, I've been really busy behind the scenes, as well as also having some trouble with my printer that I'll come on to in a moment. But you might remember from the last video, I thought I was going to have to abandon the Legio Astorum idea, but a comment on that saved it, but I'll explain a bit more later on. On to step 1 then, and that is going to be neatening up some of these prints. I don't know what's happened, but I've been getting these really strange layer shifts within it. I've done a few quick things to try and fix it, but I think a full service on my printer is in order. So in order to get these out, we're coming in first of all just with some sandpaper, just to even this all over. Now I'm going to be using 400 grit because that's quite nice and fine. We're not going to be taking big chunks out of the plastic at this level. Now naturally we're not going to be able to get it perfect because we'd have to remove too much plastic on some of these pieces, but the main aim is just to smooth that all over so when we come to put some paint on it we can blend it together even further and you won't end up really noticing that they're in there. Now I don't know why it hasn't occurred to me to try this before, but I thought I'd give wet sanding a go, and this is just so much better in general. I cannot believe it's taken me this long to have a go at wet sanding. If you need to get some really smooth finishes, this is the way to go. Sanding complete then, we can move on and start to magnetize these Imperial armor panels. Now thankfully of course we've already gone ahead and done all of this on the Chaos armor panels, so it's going to be a really simple process of just repeating where the magnets are on the Chaos parts over onto the Imperial ones. But I have got a few ideas of areas I want to strengthen these, so when we come on to that I'll explain a little bit more about what it is I'm doing. So I won't spend too long on this, but just to quickly refresh for those who haven't seen this before, we're using 3mm magnets. We're going to be able to press these into holes that we're going to drill at certain points of the armor panel. This is just a bent piece of metal that I'm using. I can attach the magnet to that and easily pop it into the armor piece. With a 3mm drill bit on my Dremel, I ended up swapping this out for my new one later on, and I've also got some glue. We can start now just mimicking where all of these magnets have been placed before. Now to do that, I'm simply drilling a hole and then making it slightly larger using the drill bit. That way then we can come in now with our magnet. This is where I'm going to be using this handy little tool that I've just made. We can attach the magnet onto there and then get it press fit, if I've done a good enough job, there we are, straight into the armor panel. Now that we know that fits, we can go ahead and put a dab of glue on it. I do end up changing later on to super glue. It's actually so much easier than the Loctite, but there is occasions when you want the flexibility of the Loctite glue, so you'll see me swap between the two. So I broke my fancy new drill out for this, and I want to now work on the shoulder pieces. Now these Chaos ones aren't as strong as I'd like them to be. One big bump on the table and quite a lot of them unfortunately do fall off the model. So this time what I'm going to be doing on all of these shoulder pieces is doubling up on the magnets instead. First then we can go ahead and again mimic where those holes are on the other armor piece. That's going to mean that we're matching up exactly on the chassis where it needs to be. We've got our two magnets. Now we want to make sure that these stick together as well as sticking well on the inside, so I put a dab of super glue all around, really make sure that that's nice and soaked, and push it into place. Now thankfully, due to the width of these magnets, that means that they are standing a little bit proud on the inside. That's going to really help give me some additional contact on the chassis. Here we go with a test fit then. Now thankfully I didn't have to do as much cleanup work as I did on the Chaos ones, and this is so much more secure now with two magnets. That can definitely withstand a big bump. Now because these two center pieces are the same, it's important to make sure that they fit on either side, just so I don't have to mark and come back and make sure that I'm lining up perfectly each time. I can just throw a panel on and not worry about where it sits. Time to work on a piece of armor that I didn't have last time, so I don't have the Chaos equivalent of this upper arm piece. That means when I was originally doing it, I didn't put any metal on this section to attach some magnets to. So what we're going to need to do is grab ourselves some of the metal sheet that we had last time and these nice scary aviation snips that could definitely take a finger off if I did something wrong. Get about the size that we need. Now we're only going to need it about 1 centimeter tall by I'd say about 1/3 of a centimeter wide, maybe even a little bit smaller. Now these aviation snips do tend to bend the metal slightly when you use them, so with a pair of pliers and a firm grip I'm just flattening that out as well as pushing down all of those sharp edges that's created when we've cut it. This can really easily be now mounted to the upper arm using a magnet to pick it up and some super glue on the back. We just hold it in place until that super glue starts drying and biting, and then remove the magnet and it stays there. Repeating the same then on the other side. That is as simple as it needs to be in order to get this armor panel now attached to it. And there we are, and that's a nice strong fit as well. With all that prep work complete then, we can move on now to the fun stuff. So I'm starting off by priming this with a light grey by Vallejo. This is just coming straight out of the airbrush, making sure to get a real nice thick coat all over everything. And where we've got some of those printer marks, I'm making sure to put on some extra thick layers just to try and fill in some of those lines. Next up, we're moving on to Moon Yellow by Vallejo. Now this is the colour I discovered when doing the head. I absolutely love this yellow. It is so potent and vibrant. But in order to get that luminosity, we've got to make sure we really put a good base coat down first, getting an even dusting all over it. That way, when we come over them with our second and third coats, we build really smoothly on top of that and get a nice even volume to that yellow. Moving on to blue. Now I struggled with this blue last time. The previous one that I used was too dark and it went down abysmally. This magic blue by Vallejo made me stop and look at my Space Marines and made me really want to repaint them. I love this blue. Again, putting a nice sort of dusting down first so that we can then build up stronger layers on top. This is such a vibrant blue. It is going to go really well underneath some of the transfers that I've got to come, as well as taking some weathering perfectly. With all our base coats applied, next up was a part that took so long to do. We got to paint some gold trim, but not only do we have to paint gold trim, this gold really didn't want to go down very well at all, so everything ended up needing to get a minimum of 3 coats. I cannot tell you how long it took just to get all of this done, because we then got all of the intricacies of having to go inside all of the trim that we're painting up against the armor to make sure that we're filling every little piece that we need to be. This really was just a matter of putting some music on, putting a video on, and just plowing through it. And lastly, for our final base colour to put down on this Imperial build, we're coming in with some Lead Belcher by Games Workshop, and anything that we need to be metal, we're just getting a nice thick coat down on that. So that includes the ankle pistons. We've got these contact points here for the shields on the front pauldrons. There are these 2 little vents on either side of the upper arm armour, and then finally we've got these vents on the back 2 pauldron pieces. Well, with all of those base coats done, let's put it all together and have a look at what we got to work with. And here we are with our Imperial Titan in the last but one phase. It is really strange to see a Warlord Titan look so clean. I'm so used to seeing all of the Chaos Armor panels as well as the weathering that we've done for the head, so I'm really looking forward to muddying up all of this armor and getting it all fully coherent. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, in the previous video, somebody dropped a little comment that put me down a rabbit hole that has really ended up saving this Legio Astorum build. I reached out to Forgotten Chapters, and with their help we have been able to put together an amazing Legio Astorum themed transfer sheet. I am really looking forward to bringing you more on that in the next episode, but what I will say for now is that if you need transfers or custom transfers for your armies, whether they are fantasy or science fiction, check out Forgotten Chapters. There's a link in the description below. They have a wide variety of designs that are sure to suit your needs. All that's left for me to say then is a massive thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like the video down below and also comment what you thought about it. I absolutely love hearing from you, and the engagement really helps get the channel out there. The next video will be the last on the Warlord Titan for a little while. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video, as well as revealing just what we're going to be doing next. Bye.